Hey everybody, we're back again, 2 weeks in a row. This is exciting. I can't believe it. We broke a record. 2 weeks in a row. Me and Gerry got together to do a podcast episode.
I like you.
Yeah. So some feedback from last week. There is no feedback because we're backing these up. We're backlogging episodes. So I really haven't been able to look at any type of.
We're gonna put them in the vault before they even get released.
Yeah, but real quick about last week's episode we did about jobs and stuff. I thought it was a good episode. We might circle back on that at a later time.
I got a couple new jobs out of it.
Yeah, Gerry actually has been on like 16 interviews over the past 7 days.
For Caputo Collective.
Yeah, he's broken his record.
And now I'm hired for 16 different roles.
But today, we're going to get a little serious here, even though Gerry will probably not be serious. But we're going to talk about what's going on in the world right now. And what's going on in the world is COVID. So today, it's me and Gerry, and we have another guest who everybody knows of. He was on this podcast twice. He was on for the Avengers Summit and then the WrestleMania recap from, I want to say, like a year and a half ago.
And most importantly, it's on his resume.
Yeah, most importantly, he puts it on his resume that he's part of the Collective Podcast, a recurring cast member, Joe Villanti.
Oh, wait, what's going on? We're actually recording right now?
Yeah, Joe just came here for the beer.
I just came out to drink beer and order pizza. You said there would be pizza, Gerry.
Do you want another one?
Most likely. Oh, so we're back on the podcast.
Yeah.
And you're actually letting me to stay on this time?
Yeah, I'm actually going to have you talk.
Oh, we were doing an introduction. Live from New York! Oh, wait, wrong show.
Yeah, no. So we're here in Gerry's Square, or as I mentioned before the podcast, we're here in the Thunderdome!
Hey!
But, so we're in, if everybody knows where we are, we're in New York. We're in the epicenter of COVID.
We're in the safe haven that's Gerry Square Studios.
Yeah, Gerry Square Studios.
I call this quarantine productions.
And I gotta tell you guys, the 6 feet mandate is kind of
it's hard to do in my studio.
Well, it kind of doesn't apply here because I don't even think his square even reaches 6 feet. But that's besides the point.
It's maybe 12 at most.
Yeah, it's maybe 12.
When you go from one side
All right,
to the other.
let's take a measurement. Everybody lay down.
Everybody lay down
so we can measure one side of the square to the other.
So anyway, if you cut it off, half of the furniture that he's got here doesn't even make it 12 feet. But that's
a different story for a different day.
That's a mute point. So today we're going to talk about COVID and how it affected us and what we did to not go crazy, because it seems like that's a common trend today. I've been seeing a lot of stuff on BuzzFeed talking about people going on Twitter talking about how they're passing time. It's really funny. People just making funny memes. One meme I had way back in I think March or April was
the Luke Skywalker one?
No, it was the one that I saw was a certain couch looked like a certain way. It looked like a backside of somebody, and someone's like, "Oh, the quarantine's getting to be so much. My couch looks good."
Oh God.
So
it's pretty good.
The one I made was had Luke Skywalker. It's the social distancing champion since 1984.
Or social distancing before it was cool.
Yeah, social distancing before it was cool.
I'll say this as someone who is always out, maybe like 5 days of the week, and for me to be home constantly, the socialization never really stopped for me.
Yeah, Gerry was that idiot that was like, "COVID, I'm gonna go out," because
Gerry could walk to the end of his driveway and still count as going out.
Yeah. So
anyway, was a party every day.
So Gerry, we have to put a timetable here. So we'll go the second week of March until I want to say July.
Can we start from August 29th, 1990?
No.
So there he goes, laughing at his own jokes again.
So we'll go from the second week of March to about the second or third week of July, which would be the time that we had the lockdown and everything, and New York was the epicenter.
I would even say earlier, like June, things started to loosen up a bit.
Yeah, but I mean, like we opened up in phases like other states, but phase 4 really happened in the middle of July. So I guess we'll use that as like the end point when we were just seeing each other just all the time. After that, we weren't really abiding by any type of like social distancing rules. So March.
We even up to March, we were like, it was just background noise. It was just on the news, and we were just making jokes. No way it's coming over here.
Yeah, no way it's gonna come over here.
But no way it's gonna come over here. And we were, and a few of us were in Washington D.C. for another former guest, a friend of ours, Ian.
Yeah, for his
and then
for his bachelor party.
For his bachelor party, we go to Washington D.C. and come back. It's a whole different world.
Yeah, you're literally leaving Washington D.C. and you get the news report saying first COVID patient in Washington D.C. as you're leaving the area.
Well, it's a big area, so we're sure nowhere near the patient.
You were leaving Delaware, and it was funny because Ian at his job, literally, the guy like patient 0 in New York
was in his building.
Like a week before he got diagnosed with COVID, and he was freaking out. This was March, and we all had to like not stay away from him for like 2 weeks. He quarantined himself. He was freaking out.
But then that second or third week of March is when the shit started to hit the fan.
Yeah.
And I'm not talking about Gerry trying to be funny on this one.
So
that's some good shit.
So what are some of the things that I know we all try to keep busy, but what are some of the things that we did collectively together to keep busy? Not in the same room, but like collectively together try to keep each other sane without going crazy.
Well, one of the saving graces of living in the age of technology, the use of video chatting, Zoom in particular, was a saving grace. Now, up until this year, no joke, I've never heard of Zoom. I never used it for any work reasons.
Yeah, me neither.
So
I've used it a few times.
So what's funny is, like, I think in March it was actually the week of, we were going to go out for my birthday that week, that everything shut down. And that Friday night, I think it was a team-up effort of Gerry and me. We didn't even use Zoom. I think we used Facebook.
Yeah.
Messenger.
Oh, that was great.
Facebook Messenger, and we started adding certain people, and it build up, and eventually the core people from that, and then Gerry, if you want to take over from here, you were the initiator of bringing everything over to Zoom.
So, I'm the type of guy, it doesn't matter if I'm by myself and singing all by myself, and then also, if I'm out and about in public having a good time, I like to bring the fun in anything that I do. So for me, I'm like, why not have different people from our friend group just keep hopping in and out of the Facebook Messenger? So it was interchanging for about 2 hours, and then we moved it to Zoom, where we were just doing like jokes on the backgrounds, like we were making fun of each other, roasting each other from that,
changing the backgrounds.
Yeah, changing the backgrounds to inside jokes that isn't really relevant here to the podcast, because no one will get the joke. But
using all our faces on backgrounds.
Yeah, but one of the times that we went on Zoom, Gerry, I don't know if you want to talk about this. The time that we were all like having like we're gonna pretend we're in a bar. We're all gonna drink.
Oh, of course I'll talk about it.
And Gerry and I get on, and Jerry's like, "Hey, I'm drinking this. Like I'm drinking wine." We're like, "Oh, cool. What type of wine you're drinking?" And he pulls up a whole bottle, and he starts drinking from the bottle. And in my head, I'm like, "There is absolutely no way that this kid is drinking a whole bottle of wine just sitting there talking to us." Well, sure enough, about 2 hours later, Jerry's like, "Hey, I ran out of wine."
So here's the thing. That I was just doing it as like as fun, just like as a joke and everything like that. I wasn't even depressed about what was going on because I just adapted to my own routine. Thankfully, I had a job. I was working from home. I got my elliptical like beforehand.
Yeah.
So I was just trying to have fun.
We'll get to the elliptical.
I was just trying to have fun considering what was going on. So for me, I was like, oh, let me drink out of a wine bottle, and then sooner than later, after 2 hours, I canceled the entire Zoom meeting because I was completely sick, and
Did you try to sit in the chair and then you missed the chair or you fell out of the chair or something?
Well, you knocked down your laptop or your phone. I don't know which one you were using that night. So,
that was my phone. My phone I knocked out by accident, maybe 3/4 the way in drinking a whole bottle of wine.
Is this different from the night where you passed out in the canceled meeting? Where that was
the same night.
And they were like, and the whole Zoom call just ended. So
it was just funny because it was like you were drinking white wine out of a bottle, and it's like weird because it's like I see the bottle like different levels of like winery, and it's like
Winery.
I couldn't even think of the word.
Just the different levels of where the wine was in the bottle.
Yeah,
I love how you two are doing word associations.
Yeah, and I'm not calling Gerry a wino, but that was like. That was something. Out of all the years we've known each other, I've never seen you drink a whole bottle of wine.
And then
that's the most I've ever been drunk.
But then another funny thing was Gerry bought an elliptical.
Yes.
And he's on Zoom and he's doing he was doing an elliptical for a little bit as he's talking to us on Zoom.
Let him tell the story on the elliptical.
So, as I have an elliptical, I've been recently doing workouts as much as twice a day, just with cardio alone. Now with the gyms open and I've been doing weights too. But before that, I was trying to have fun with it, just, doing the Zooms and knowing that my elliptical practically can't fit in my studio, nonetheless. And they just see me, with the bottle of wine. I'm just like, yay, I'm having a great time, all that bullshit.
Drinking from the wine bottle and going to the elliptical.
And then also, you have any more to that story, or...
For that story, I think it all just spoke for itself in my toilet bowl.
And then there was the spin-off app where some people, different groups at different times went to house partying. We played games on it. So
yeah.
So I will say this, and this was one nice thing that happened during quarantine. After when things were starting to reopen, we did kind of expand our circle and have some new friends considering that.
So I guess there was one good side effect, but. Now, to get a little more serious, we were thinking early on this would be a 2-month, a 2-week thing. It'll be over by the middle of April. We're going to be open by Easter.
Easter, Joe,
Easter. Obviously, that didn't happen.
That was Christmas, right?
I was thinking, definitely May. And then it just became repetitive, and after a while, the Zoom thing was great, but Fridays and Saturdays used to being out, and then during the week, luckily, somehow, someway, my job was deemed essential, so going to work was a saving grace, but at the same time, I would be home 1 or 2 days a week, and it just, you just have a lifetime of things. I know I'm going probably in 2 different directions now. Just a lifetime of habits of not shaking hands,
and not giving you hugs.
Yeah.
Well, I never want a hug from you anyway.
Fuck you.
But yeah, I mean, Saturdays, it was just turning into I didn't think I was going to see anybody for a whole year. I was like, oh man.
Yeah.
I was like, all the events that passed by, we missed my birthday. My birthday was May. And
my birthday early on in March.
Yeah, and it was a little disappointing with me. And then we circled around. We wound up celebrating your birthday in June.
That was a bootleg summer birthday, but we made the worst of it. The best of it.
No, you made the worst.
So
and then, the first is the worst. And then we did Gerry's birthday.
Well, Gerry's birthday was Gerry's birthday was where everything was open again, outdoor dining. Well, but to circle back around to the seriousness of it, honestly, how scared were you guys at certain points?
I was. So, okay, so circling back to last week's podcast when I was talking about what happened with job interviews and stuff. Legit in the beginning, I was more upset than scared, and then I really started to get scared at little moments where I'd be driving my mom around and we'd go to the bank and I would literally put because it was winter, I'd put my gloves on just to grab something from the bank, and then I would throw my gloves in the wash just to desanitize, because I had no clue what they were all you couldn't figure it's contagious, stays on the surface, doesn't stay on the surface, wear a mask, don't wear a mask. It was driving me nuts. I couldn't figure out what was going on. My dad worked in the hospital, and everybody knows the Staten Island Hospital, both sides were deemed testing zones.
Or hotspots?
Hotspots. So my dad's going to the hospital. He's literally in the
To clarify, he works there as a doctor.
Yeah, so. He works there as he's an anesthesiologist. So he works there, and he's putting people to sleep and stuff like that. But thankfully, they stopped elective surgery, so he was just sitting there for hours just watching television and stuff, which is funny to begin with, but
because Because it's like, does he even have time to watch TV?
Yeah. No, it's funny because the story now is they're all buying a new television, and he's in a group chat, and his phone is going off like every 5
your dad?
Yeah, his phone's going off every 5 seconds because they can't decide what size.
Text fatigue.
No, they can't figure out what size they want. If they want a smart TV, what if they want to hang it up on the wall, if they want to buy a wall mount. It's like he's like, I just put in for the television. I don't need to know. But so him coming home, and then as soon as him coming home, he would just run up the steps and just like throw his clothes in the wash and take a shower just to make sure he was good and stuff.
It's just weird. Like the only place that you would that would have the mask and the gloves was inside a hospital or other professions where you need a mask. Or the only time you would see mask in public is in Halloween.
Yeah.
Or the only time, or the only PPE is the PP you would take in the bathroom. You know what I'm saying?
Hey!
Oh, but so you were talking about Saturdays before, how you would keep busy on Saturdays. Me, literally, was for Saturdays at 8:00 at night on MeTV. I'd watch Svengoolie and watch a really shitty horror movie.
Yeah.
And just a really shitty like old black and white horror movie and just laugh.
Thank God for the streaming ever with Netflix.
I told you to watch Clone Wars, and you watched.
I watched Clone Wars.
You watched the whole series of Clone Wars.
Clone Wars.
And then Rebels,
and as you know, no secret, Christian and I are big wrestling fans, especially WWE.
What is that?
We watched the 2-day unique WrestleMania week, so we could do another podcast, another episode on.
Yeah,
but so we had that, but after a while, you can only watch so much. But do you guys want to talk about like how much news you're able to read or watch?
I couldn't. I didn't watch. I was so exhausted from the news. I was just like after like the first like 2 weeks, I was like just let me know when there's a cure or when we could like, walk outside again.
Well, it was just. I remember one day, like, I guess one of the things working from home or just being home during the week, I'd be fine. And I'd turn on the news, and then I'd be hit with the wave of reality and get hit with this mind fuck and this depression. And how many people, how many new cases, unfortunately, how many deaths. So after a while, I had to, like, try to find the balance and the limit of watching the news.
What you were asking before, I just remembered how, like, scared you were. Right? So I remember when the mayor was saying that they were going to like do shelter in place. I had no clue what that meant. I'm like, does that mean we have to stay in the house and not go outside? That's what literally I thought, oh my God, like we're not able to leave the house.
I'm proud of myself for the fact that I didn't panic once during the whole thing.
Yeah. Like I didn't know what that was. Like, do you not leave the house? How are you supposed to get food? How are you supposed to get... And then he was like, oh, if you need to go and get food, you can go, but no wandering around. And then he was like, oh, you could wander around, but 6 feet. And then he's like, oh, well, you could walk. You could do... And it was just... Yeah. It's just an array of, like, what you can and can't do. And then one day they'd say something, the next day they'd contradict themselves. And it just drove you nuts.
And then you had to be careful with social media and false information. Like, I remember this ridiculous text that was going on. Like, one of those old... Do you guys remember from back in the day, if you don't send this email, you get bad luck on... Yeah. So this mass text or this message was going around that the president was going to issue martial law and send in the National Guard. And it was a bunch of false information. The National Guard was out on the belt, but it was helping with not rescue efforts, but...
I mean, the National Guard was out more during Hurricane Sandy. You actually saw them driving around in their trucks.
But to tie it in, like... That's the age that we're living in with the media and social media to navigate through, I hate to use the term, fake news, and I just knew it was bullshit from the start, but that's why living in New York State, I actually had to listen to the politicians for once, especially our Governor Cuomo, who at the time, in the first couple months, got some good credit, but, that was the same, not a rerun, it was like a new episode of his news briefing every day.
What was I going to say? But, no, it literally turned into, like, Groundhog's Day, where it's like, for me, I'd wake up, I'd have breakfast, I'd take a shower, I'd, go out and buy food or whatever, come home, sit down in front of the television, be on the laptop, and then eat dinner, eat lunch, laptop, dinner, television, go to bed.
Yeah.
And you rinse and repeat every day for 4 months. Luckily for me, like, what I did was I just played. I played all the video games that I had in succession, one after the other, for 4 months. So like I played like both Legend of Zelda games that I had. I played all the Metroid games. I played all. I played God of War again. I played all like some Sega game, like just in succession, just to keep my mind off because I was literally driving myself insane.
You know what I found very interesting during this whole thing? So when you have like all the talk show people going home now to do their shows, you have Jimmy Fallon, you have Conan O'Brien. They're all doing the shows from home. You know what I say to that? Welcome to our world. Now you have to work your way from the ground up and be famous fucking people like we are.
Yeah. Doing nothing. Yeah.
Wow, that fell pretty flat, Jerry. But anyway.
So, was there any time that you felt like your mental health was starting to deteriorate?
Yeah, I had my bad days. Like, I guess, like, oh, when is this gonna end? And from the social aspect, like one thing after another. Like, never birthdays aside. I remember I was supposed to be in Atlantic City one weekend.
Rhode Island another weekend.
Well, actually, Rhode Island happened, but that got changed into a backyard wedding. But that was not to June, and they were in hotspot. But it wasn't a hotspot or on a ban list at that time. But other things like I was supposed to go to my first ever AEW show. First, that show got pushed back from February.
Yeah, you had the big War Games match was going to happen.
But on their banner, they were calling Bloods and Guts. That show from March to July, then pushed back to next year, if that's even going to happen at this point, because they couldn't have any fans at big live events.
They're having fans now.
Yeah, but at the time, like, everything was getting canned. So, except for one wedding of our friends getting married, weddings getting pushed to next year.
Yeah.
But going to a backyard wedding was a lot of fun.
Okay, so you want to talk about weddings. I had a friend who was going to have a destination wedding back in April in the Dominican Republic. And that didn't happen. They pushed it back until next year.
I mean, I had family that was going to have a destination wedding in New Orleans in October.
Was that
a
hot zone?
I think it was.
Yeah.
And they were so uncertain. Actually, it was supposed to be next weekend. Well, I don't know when at the time of this recording, it's a week before Columbus Day. And so it was supposed to be next weekend. And I was supposed to be in New Orleans, but obviously that wedding got pushed back too.
So, speaking of weddings, Jerry.
Yeah.
Yes. Why don't you tell the podcast listeners what
do we really have to talk about this?
So, a trajectory that didn't go flat. So what I was doing was I definitely wanted to benefit myself from wedding season, which is going to be big into next year. And that scenario for me is, let's say with all these postponed weddings for 2021, why not myself, Gerard Michael Uselli, become an ordained minister? And I got my license. I got it in the mail in 2 weeks. And for all that certification purposes, $45 of an investment to be a Shark Tank stud in 2021.
Has anybody asked you to marry them?
No, because I haven't asked them yet.
They're supposed to ask you.
Well, you did ask somebody and they said no. So
well, that was a joke.
That was a joke. Yeah, but
because I knew they were gonna say no. I'm like, hey, me.
I'll do it. So I'm trying to. So basically, what I did was, I'm happy that I did this. That I literally wrote like a series that I want to do, like a 8 to 10 episode series, and like I wrote all 8 to 10 scripts. In the span of the beginning of March all the way to like the end of April during COVID. That's all I did was work on this. And I'm still working on it now. It's not something that anybody's going to see in the immediate future. Maybe in a couple of years you guys will see it. But
filmmakers come back?
No. But
is it a script that you're married to, and do you need somebody?
Yes.
Okay,
Jerry,
that's a serious inquiry. A professional business deal done.
Do you need Jerry to serve as producer again?
I'm going to need Jerry to be the bartender, and Joe to be a
dead body.
Yeah, dead body. But yeah, so I did that. I waited for this job to get back to me, And then that was really most of like my mental health issues was like, when is this job going to back? When is this going to end? So I could get back to where I was with this job that I was interviewing for. And the ending came. Everybody knows from listening to the last episode of podcast, nothing came out of it. But it was just, when is this going to end? When is this friggin' stupid thing going to end? But the thing is, with me, now I'm sitting there and I'm like, wow, like, when you're a kid, you think, oh, you live in a modern age, none of this stuff will ever happen. And then you realize, oh my God, this stuff, anything can happen now.
Yeah, but I guess the biggest mindfuck of them all that I had wrapping my mind around, it affected literally everything. Not just our city or state or country, the entire fucking world almost.
Yeah.
Or civilization.
Yeah, civilization as we know it. And it just affected everyday life. Like, you had no clue what was up, what was down, what day it was.
Like, even in areas with low testing rates now, people are still hesitant, which I don't blame them, but, it just makes you think, 2-3 times instead of...
But, right now, as of this recording that we're recording, we're sitting here, the numbers are starting to go back up again.
Well, in certain areas, not around.
In certain areas, yeah.
But certain New York State has a list of states not to travel to, or if you travel from that state, you have to stay here for 2 weeks. I don't know. Enforcing that is another conversation.
So, do you guys want to go to Vegas?
No. No, because the Star Trek experience isn't there anymore.
Well, Atlantic City's open, so.
Yeah. But or we could visit my friend.
We have 3 options to work with.
But yeah, we got great. No, I don't think I'll be. My parents aren't going to travel for a while.
Well, aren't the borders still closed technically?
The what?
The borders.
The borders. Yeah, the borders are still closed.
Like, you can't travel out of the country.
I didn't have really any plans booked as far as vacations for this year, so I didn't really lose much as far as anything invested for going away. So I didn't have any bitterness towards what was canceled on me.
So now let's skip forward when we started to emerge from our haze that was COVID.
From our underground bunkers.
Yeah, from our underground
AKA
bunkers.
Our houses.
Well, technically, I was in my basement the whole time, so my bunker.
I was mart hopping.
Yeah, you were upstairs in your attic, and Gerry was just in his square. But so when we first went back to our friend's house, first time, were you nervous? Were you? Well, that's when the mayor put a curfew up. Remember?
Well, that was a curfew for other reasons other than COVID, which we don't have to go into.
Yeah, we don't have to go into that. But
we could say that for another discussion, but when we started emerging, for some reason I felt fine going over a friend's house because you kind of at a safe distance and you're around people even though
you're outside.
You're outside too, but I think I felt safe doing that first in some weird reason. So
you just have to challenge yourself.
And then when we celebrated your birthday, I think that was the first bar we went to. In the first time we were outside. We were
outside. We were at a safe distance, but
we were cooking in that tent. That tent must have been 120 degrees.
I might have drank a little too much that day.
Well, that's another story.
But
I gave him another bottle of wine from my refrigerator.
Yeah.
Oh, that's what probably put me over the edge.
Yeah.
Anything else, guys? Or?
No, I mean, everybody's having different COVID stories. I mean, this was going to be a quick episode anyway because we really just had the Zoom calls and just our mental issues and stuff trying to overcome.
Yeah, it's weird to undo
because we had so many plans this year. I know we had weddings,
right?
We had parties, we had events we were going to do.
I mean, another interesting side effect is the drive-by birthday.
Oh yeah, so we did a whole bunch of drive-by birthdays. We did.
No, technically we just did. Well, I was a part of 2.
Well, you did too, yeah.
But the one with our good friend Jimmy, his 30th birthday.
Yeah, that was a funny.
I gave him a cake.
Yeah, Gerry literally got out of his car, gave him a cake. I just drove by and waved because I wasn't going to get out of the car and touch anybody. It was basically a line of cars
honking down. I saw by me. I not only saw it for birthdays, I saw it for graduations. Mainly graduations because it happened in graduation season.
I think what sucked the most was watching the hot dog eating contest and only seen like 5 competitors, and not like 16 of them.
Well, no, I think it was like closer to 6 to 10.
No, I think it was like 4 or 5. I think.
Or they had to do it in a controlled environment. Another term. Oh, I guess real quickly.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Let's
okay,
run
yeah,
through
okay.
terms
So let's run through terms that are driving us nuts.
that we never thought we'd do, that we hope are gone by 2021.
Yeah. So ones that my mom hates doesn't want to hear it anymore is the new normal. She thinks that's the most stupidest thing ever.
The new normal.
The new normal.
Social distancing.
Social distancing.
So I've been really observant of buzzwords, like as far as how articles are released. Mm-hmm. So the first word that came to mind is amid. So like amid the pandemic,
yeah, amid
like
the
that
pandemic.
was such a big thing when they all first started.
Pandemic, the word pandemic.
Yeah.
Quarantine.
Yeah.
Virus.
Yeah.
COVID itself, coronavirus.
Mm-hmm. All the other names we can't say on this podcast.
Parties at the Hamptons.
Yeah. Just the new normal. Wear a face mask.
You can't leave. You can't. Instead, you can't leave your house without your phone, wallet, keys, and your mask.
Yeah. Now instead of remembering 3 things, now you gotta remember 4 things.
You can't enter, even though they're open. You can't enter store or supermarket without a mask. And
here's something. More for Gerry, because I don't know if you went to like stores, anything during the like supermarkets or anything.
Not to like much later on, but I went to probably mainly a CVS.
Yeah, but Gerry, let me ask you a question, because you went around a lot.
I had a routine every day.
Did you experience any fights, any like people yelling at each other, people telling you to stay away from them?
I know
I got a couple.
I know it's one thing to be caring too much, but people were not caring too much at
all. So there were no Karens.
I only saw the videos online. Thank God I never saw it in person.
So my mom was walking through Met Food. It's I don't know if they have Met Food anywhere else, but on Staten Island in Brooklyn they have Met Food. It's a supermarket, and my mom went in and she turned the corner. And when she turned the corner to go down another aisle, this woman yelled at her and said, 6 feet, yelling at her, 6 feet, 6 feet, get away from me. And my mom's like, wait. Let me take out a tape measure to see if I'm at distance at you. One woman started cursing about you're the reason why this virus is never gonna end. You need to stay away. What are you doing? And my mom's just like tired of this. It's like it's everyone's scared, everyone's nervous. Everyone's
on edge. Everyone's walking on eggshells.
Yeah.
Actually, a couple weeks ago, when I was at a winery, everyone was on except when you're at your table, everyone was in their masks on line to order their drinks. But one girl that was in front of us said, 6 feet, please, social distancing.
I hate those people that are like.
But I think if your mouth and nose are covered, shouldn't you be okay?
Yeah, but they still
know,
all the false information that it could be transitioned through touch and through surfaces. It drives me. I actually wore gloves for like the first 2 months of every time I went out, and then I stopped.
I was wearing gloves, but for early on as well, not so much.
I was wearing costumes on Zoom calls.
Yeah, Gerry literally went through all of his wardrobe of costumes, the banana costume, the bear costume.
Look, with the mask on and everything, it's gonna be Halloween every day, so why not embrace it?
The Ernie costume, you don't have the gorilla costume, so it wasn't the gorilla costume.
I wish I had the gorilla costume.
But I can't wait for you guys to hear when we do like a post Halloween party episode about what Gerry has for his costume for Halloween.
Boy.
We'll probably put pictures up, but
I'll just say Mattel's gonna be proud of me.
Or you're finally doing, without saying what it is, I'm glad you're finally doing a costume idea I suggested a few times over the years.
Anyway,
I listened to my recurring guest on the show.
Yeah, but anyway, so I guess that kind of is it for everything that we wanted to talk about, right? Unless anybody has any other.
I guess in a nutshell, like sporting
events.
Sports leagues, Major League Baseball didn't have their first. The NHL, NBA paused their seasons. They just wrapped it up. NHL just wrapped it up, crowned the Stanley Cup. NBA, as we're recording this, they're in their finals. Now keep in mind, these are seasons that usually end in June. We're in the beginning of October, when those sports leagues are about to start a new season. So they played in certain designated cities. I think the NBA's in Orlando, and NHL had 2 designated cities in Canada called Bubble. Major League Baseball put spring training on hold, but this first game, and they were only playing 60 games. First game wasn't until July 31st, August 1st. 60-game schedule. Now we're in the playoffs. But none of these sporting events had fans. But what's a cool thing that the NBA and then WWE later adopted was set up screens so you could be a virtual fan. But seeing an NFL-sized stadium not
Empty.
have fans, depending on the state. I mean, some of them had limited fans, but it's largely empty. So that's another weird thing to get used to watching.
How do you think the Super Bowl or the World Series is going to be this year?
World Series, I can attest to. They already have they're doing a designated. The World Series is in Texas, so and they're doing the ALCS and the NLCS. I think even the Division Series in California, but the World Series is in Texas, so they're playing in a bubble too. Oh, that's another term that we could add to the list. Being in a bubble.
Yeah, being in a bubble. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or a square.
Yeah.
Jerry, what were you gonna say?
So speaking of sports, well, the XFL kind of collapsed underneath its own weight in terms of COVID. Even though at the games I watched, it looked like they were doing a good job, and they changed some of the rules, which I thought were pretty good for an alternative. Like instead of when you got a touchdown, instead of going for a field goal,
an extra point,
you would do you go for conversion points depending on.
This is called sports, Jerry.
Yeah, Jerry. Depending on the distance that you wanted to run the ball.
Soccer, right?
So 3 points would be the farthest distance, and then 1 point would be right at the goal.
Yeah. Now Vince McMahon, he's okay on money, but he took a big hit. He folded the league. Now The Rock and his business partners bought out the NFL league. The Rock's going to be the XFL.
Yeah.
The XFL, and The Rock is going to be the face of the league because he's the most popular.
Yeah.
But what was your reaction when it said The Rock?
I was shocked. I was like, of course, Vince McMahon would sell it to his buddy over there, The Rock.
Go ahead, Jerry. What point did you want to make?
Oh, I was going to say, my prediction for the Super Bowl is a whole flag football game where they're not going to be able to touch each other except from the actual flags themselves.
Jerry,
Hey, no, look, you know what, Joe, you grown, but I mean, Jerry does have a point. that might actually happen.
Hopefully by February, when they reach the Super Bowl or even the playoffs, more fans will be allowed. I know that's still a long way off, but we only have 3 months left in 2020.
So can you believe, Joe, this I just remember something. Can you believe that as of right now, the last movie that we watched in the movie theater was Sonic the Hedgehog?
Was that technically in 2020?
That was 2020. Yeah, that was 2 weeks. That was about 2 or 3 weeks before the shutdown.
And then there were plans. I'm sure we would have seen Black Widow in the
Yeah,
theaters.
we probably would have seen Black Widow. The James Bond film got pushed back. Eternals got pushed back. Dune is still on the slate as of this recording. I'm predicting that Dune is probably going to be pushed back. Marvel changed their whole freaking schedule around.
Right. You have movie theater chains filing for Chapter 11.
Yeah.
The restaurant.
I think was it AMC or
AMC?
And who was recently
Regal.
Regal basically shut down.
Yesterday, I think.
Yesterday.
Yeah, Regal shut down because the new James Bond film got pushed back.
And now they're in trouble. It even but I feel like entertainment as a whole got affected, but more locally and nationally, the food industry, the serving and restaurants, like the outdoor dining. That's another.
Yeah, we all. Oh, just speaking of outdoor dining, Jerry pointed this out to me. I don't know if you saw this, Joe, but did you see in the city that certain restaurants are seating people inside individual clear see-through tents?
You mean I saw those.
No, it's not these. It's not the long 20 you could fit 20. I mean individual.
It looks
seating.
It looks like a snow globe.
Yeah, it looks like an igloo.
I've been to one. This is way pre-COVID. An outdoor bar in Jersey that I like actually did this inside an igloo. Yeah. But it looks like a bubble too.
It's so stupid. Oh, you want to get personal heaters and stuff. It's so stupid.
But hopefully, I think right now New York City's at finally it's doing indoor dining again.
Yeah, it's at
25%.
As of this recording,
as
25%.
of this recording, and then hopefully grows. But the outdoor dining was, I mean, thankfully
it was good because it was the summer.
It was the summer, but now we're in the fall. It's cooled out, and the fact that they say, "Oh, we could have it all year round," is so ridiculous. Yeah. But
I mean, I only like I say is support your local
business. Oh, I did that a couple times back in April and May.
Yeah, so did I.
What are you snickering about over there?
Nothing.
No, I mean 2 days ago I ate at Adobe Blues. I ordered out. I was supporting them. I did like not the big car. I did Shake Shack, but that's not really a local business. I did
That's a chain, yeah.
That's a chain, but we ordered out a couple of small places, my parents and stuff. But yeah, I mean it's just across the board. It's affecting everything. I think people were getting furlonged.
Oh, furloughed?
Yeah, furloughed.
Add that term to the list of things that we're tired of hearing about.
Yeah, furloughed. I'm tired of hearing about furloughed. I'm tired of hearing about like it's called the what's it called? It's called the novel virus. I don't know what that means. Novel. I don't know what that means. Like that's not a term.
The Nobel virus.
Yeah, the Nobel virus. Yeah.
The novel virus.
Yeah.
The oval virus.
But it's just ridiculous. But I think we're reaching the end, and I think
and hopefully in this end it will matter.
Yeah. But so everybody, I know this episode was a little scattered, but this is just off the cuff. We want to talk about COVID and what was on our minds. But if you guys have any type of stories that you want to comment about, leave a comment below. Like this video, share the video, leave a comment.
I can't even talk.
Yeah.
Subscribe.
See you on the vaccine line.
Yeah, just let us know if you have any funny stories. Anything that happened that you want to talk about in the comments section. Like, let's start up a dialogue and let's all share our thoughts and get some positive feedback out there. But anyway, so you can like us on Facebook at Collective Podcast. I still got to get Gerry, the administrator's access for that.
Or are you holding that back from me?
Yeah, I don't. Well, I have to go back on my Facebook, even though I deactivated it.
If you think I should get the Facebook permission to do the Caputo Collective, comment, like, and share.
I think I'll put a bow on this one.
Yeah, but yeah, so that's it. So I want to thank Joe for being here. Joe's going to be recurring when I
feel like feel like showing up.
When we tell Joe that there's pancakes here, he'll come over and he'll go, "Oh shit, we're doing the podcast."
And mozzarella sticks.
Yeah, mozzarella sticks. But
that's in his rider.
So you can find Gerry on Facebook, Gerard Uselli.
Say hi to me.
Say hi. Yeah.
And that's a wrap.
And that's a wrap, everybody. Thanks for listening.